What's up, guys? Funk Nasty back here again. Sorry for the glare from the lights on my head up here. I just noticed that. Anyway, back here again with another, not really a tutorial. Well, I guess it's kind of like a tutorial. I had a similar video in the past. A lot of guys now, for obvious reasons, are going completely digital. A lot of cats are still using turntables, and a lot of guys are using like CDJ type deals. But they are still going digital. They're using the turntables with Serato or another time-coded solution, as well as CDJs. A lot of guys are trying to get away from CDs, even vinyl, just for obvious reasons. The weight, just a lot of shit to carry, the organization too, just being able to look up the track title in like a database and finding it right away. So with this comes obvious maintenance type deal, type stuff that you're going to have to do to make sure that you've got all your stuff. Not only that you have all your stuff organized well, but that you have it safeguarded for loss, theft, whatever. Quite obviously, that's going to be key because, of course, as you know, a lot of these CDs and stuff that you rip, some of them are rare imports, shit that you may never find again. So not only, once you get it into a digital format, you not only want to protect that and make sure that you've got backups of it, but like I said, you're very likely going to have multiple copies of some of the same tracks. So to have it tagged, organized, so you can find everything, not just find it, but know exactly what mix it is. Because I don't know if you're like me, you may have 10 different mixes of the same song. Sometimes for certain instances, one mix is better than the other, or maybe you just like to collect like me and just like to get as many as you can. It's kind of an addiction. But anyway, so in order to do that, we're going to start with the organization thing. The most important thing you can possibly do for organization for your digital library, especially when it gets large, like over 50 gigs or more, is tagging. Tagging is not the file name of the track. It's how the track, artist, BPM, genre, all that good stuff, how that is displayed when the track is playing in a media player. For instance, Winamp, iTunes, Vox for Mac. Name your typical audio player and Windows Media Player, whatever. That's how it's displayed. The track title, the actual file name, doesn't mean shit other than for you to be able to look at it and say, this is this track. But what's more important is when it's loaded into your software, like Serato, Torque, you name it, virtual vinyl, Tractor, all of those, is being able to see that it's the correct name and that it has the correct tags in the software. Once again, going back to being the correct remix, for instance, having the correct BPM, if you sort by BPM, genre, year, all that good stuff is in the tag. My favorite tagging software for the PC is called MP3 Tag. You can get it at mp3tag.de. That's for Germany, DE. mp3tag.de. It's free. It does all kinds of good shit. The second one is not free, but is very good. It's called Tag and Rename. You can get it at softpointer.com. I'm not sure exactly how much it is. I bought it a while ago. Very good. Has a lot of features. And the third one is also for PC, and it's free, and it is called Tag Scanner 2000. If you're on a PC and you get one out of any of those three, those are all three excellent programs. Will help you tag your files, get your shit organized, and make sure that you can go in there, and when you need to get to a track in split seconds notice, you can get to that track, and you can find what you need when your last song runs out. If you're for the Mac users out there, unfortunately, there are not as many good taggers for the Mac. I don't know why. I've looked up and down. To be honest, iTunes is probably your best one.
They have a handful of other ones. They have one called Media Rage, which is pretty good. They got one called JaiKoz, Jaikoz. That one's okay. And they've got Music Brains, Brainz. Those are all okay. If I had to pick for the Mac to tag, I would choose iTunes. I personally don't care for iTunes a whole lot. I know, don't shoot me. I just don't care for iTunes. Love Macs, don't like iTunes. So what I generally do is I tag most of my shit in a PC, and then I transfer it over to the Mac, and vice versa. I just don't like to tag in a Mac. I know guys say you can use Parallels and run PC apps in a Mac, but to me that doesn't make any fucking sense. If I have a PC, I'll just do it on the PC. If I have a Mac, I'll do it on the Mac. I don't like to mix platforms. It's just a pain. Anyway, that handles your resource, your organization of your resources. Critical. But even more critical than that is once you got all this stuff, making sure it's backed up, having it in case of a disaster. There are many ways you can back up stuff. Literally, a backup is no more than a sheer copy from one place to the next. Taking data, copying it, and pasting it into another location is in its simplest form a backup. But there are many other ways to do this. The way I like is using a sync software. What I'll do is I will have 2 to 3 external hard drives. I will have all of my main data, all of it, on the first drive. I'll have a copy of that synced from the first drive to the second drive, and then I will have a third drive. Oh, I can't even get fucking 3 fingers up here. I will have a third drive for redundancy of the first 2. Now, if that doesn't make any sense, you got the first drive, your source. Second drive is your clone of the source. And your third drive, okay, is the one that you do every so often, okay, because if the data on the source drive corrupts, okay, you don't want it to copy that corrupted data to the second one. That's why you have the third one. The third one you do every so often, it doesn't touch the first 2. That way, if for some reason the first drive should partially fail, okay, before you catch it, and while it's partially failing, copying data to the second drive, guess what? You got corrupted data on both of the 2 drives. That's why you need the third drive that's not connected. You just update it like once a month, 2 months, whatever. That will save your ass if that should ever happen. Normally, it'll only be 1 drive that goes, and you can just flip 1 or 2 out, whichever one dies. Similar to that, if you have internal drives, you have multiple internal drives, you can run some kind of a RAID configuration, RAID mirroring probably, or striping with parity would probably make the most sense. For guys that aren't into computers, you could probably tell them into computers. Go look this stuff up. I wouldn't do RAID if you're not really familiar with computers, because it can be a little bit tricky. The third option that you have also, if you don't want to sync your data using sync software. By the way, the sync software I use for the Mac is called ChronoSync or ChronoSync. Amazing. Love it. There's one for the PC that's completely free. It's called Always Sync. ALLWAYSYNC. Always Sync. All one word. If you don't want to do syncing, though, they now sell NAS drives. That means network-attached storage drives that you can hook up to your computer. It's basically a case that has 2 drives or more, sometimes 3, 4, whatever. You hook it up to your computer through your network, okay, and you copy your data to one of the drives. In this NAS drive, it will automatically mirror, if you have it set up that way, to the second drive. So you have a redundant copy. If one of the drives dies, you yank the other one out, and you've got a mirrored copy. That may be easier for some people. They're getting cheaper. They're still fairly expensive, but they are getting cheaper. But anyway, those are your 2 critical things. You got to make sure that your shit's organized so you can find it in a pinch. You also got to make sure that your shit is backed up, very importantly. Check out my other video on backups. I actually have another video that goes full in-depth for how to sync files and folders if you want to do it that way. Or you can use one of the other 2 options I've given you. Okay? I feel like I'm doing this a lot in this tutorial. Maybe I'll do that. Anyway,
That's it for this one, and talk to you soon.